Revealed, the touching journey inside Pompeii's hidden BR0THEL, a life-changing experience. Jake wiped the grease from his hands, sighing heavily as he gazed at the empty side of the porch where his wife used to sit, a cup of coffee cradled in her hands. The garage echoed with silence, a stark contrast to the laughter that once filled his home. Ever since losing her, he felt like a ship adrift, battling storms alone with only his spirited daughter, Lily, for company. She was 10, and though she wore a brave smile, Jake could see the flickering sadness in her eyes, the same sadness that mirrored his own. He missed the joy, the laughter, and the little adventures that once bound their family together. It was an ordinary afternoon when Jake's weary routine took an unexpected twist. Seeking parts for Lily's broken bike, he meandered to the town library's basement, a shadowy, dusty world filled with forgotten treasures. As he sifted through the chaotic stacks, a book caught his eye, an ancient, faded tome about Pompeii. The cover burst with color, and the title whispered stories of past lives, promising secrets beneath its aged cover. Curiosity shot through him like an electric jolt. As he opened the book, the pages transported him to a time teeming with life before disaster struck. Vibrant communities, passionate people, and yes, even the hidden tales of the brothel that thrived amidst the chaos. The resilience of those women struck a chord in him, mirroring his own struggles to provide for Lily, to rebuild joy in their fractured lives. He became immersed in the struggles they faced, the same fierce human spirit that was alive in him. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Over meals of simple sandwiches and laughter, Jake and Mr. Thompson, his wise neighbor, dove into those stories. Their evenings turned into passionate debates about social justice, echoing their laughter and revealing vulnerabilities. Every story they shared became a link that bridged generations, igniting a purpose within Jake that he hadn't felt since losing his wife, but life wouldn't let him be. As Lily befriended Chloe, the girl whose family draped themselves in privilege, a knot twisted in Jake's stomach. He feared the chasm that separated their worlds, the daily grind of providing for Lily versus the carefree life Chloe knew. Would Lily see her father's hard work as a burden? The thought weighed heavy. The community festival approached like a bright light in the darkness. Could this be his chance? Jake could feel the electric anticipation in the air. As vendors set up stalls and laughter danced among the tree-lined streets, memories surged within him. Hidden talents sprang to mind, the artistry of his younger days all buried under years of labor. Yet, just as he found the courage to consider sharing those talents, a sudden incident jolted the ground beneath him, leaving him frozen. Would he rise and chase this fleeting chance at change, or shrink back into obscurity? As his heart raced, Jake stood at the crossroads, uncertainty swirling in the air. The moment hung thick with possibilities, each breath echoing the cries of the past and the dreams of a brighter future, both he and Lily yearning for clarity in a world rife with shadows. Jake took a deep breath, the sense of sun-baked asphalt and popcorn wafting through the air, intertwining with the distant sounds of laughter and music from the festival. He felt as if he stood on the edge of a precipice, a daring leap into the unknown. But what did he really have to lose? For the first time in a long while, a spark of hope flickered within him. Looking over at Lily, he noticed her bright smile as she chatted animatedly with Chloe, their carefree laughter merging with the buzz of the festival. It warmed his heart, yet it came with a stab of anxiety. The shadow of worry still lingered. Would this new friendship pull her away from him? From the traditions they built together? Despite the internal battle, the moment felt pivotal. Jake glanced around, noticing the vibrant stalls that popped up like flowers opening to sunlight. One booth, decorated with colorful fabric and shimmering beads, caught his eye. Without thinking, he pulled Lily closer, urging her to explore. "Look at those bracelets!" he exclaimed, pointing to the intricate designs in the booth. Lily's eyes sparkled with delight, and for a moment, the past faded away. They approached the vendor, an older woman with a warm smile and welcoming demeanor. As Lily admired the glittering stones, Jake felt a familiar tug and urge to create, to bring color and joy into their lives. "Did you ever think about making your own?" Jake asked Lily, hoping to draw her into the fold of his forgotten artistry. "Can we?" she asked, her eyes widening. "Absolutely," he replied, surprised at his own enthusiasm. The woman behind the booth nodded and offered a quick tutorial, her hands deftly sorting through varieties of beads and threads. As they crafted together under the cheerful chatter of festival-goers, Jake felt hope swell within him. Each bead strung was like a small stitch pulling their tattered lives back together. Between laughter and guidance, Jake recounted stories from the book, weaving in the history of those women from Pompeii who embraced their crafts, using them as a means of survival amidst chaos. With every story, they built a connection, bridging the gap between past and present. Even as Jake reveled in the spark of creativity, a familiar face loomed closer: Chloe's mother, impeccably dressed and imposing in demeanor. Jake felt a twinge of insecurity flare up. Would she scoff at their simple activity? Would she pull Chloe away in disdain? "Lily!" she called sharply, her gaze sweeping over the beads scattered across the table. "What are you doing here?" Jake stiffened, but before he could respond, Lily beamed and proudly displayed her half-finished bracelet. "Look, Mom. I'm making something special with Dad." Chloe's mother raised an eyebrow, the corner of her mouth twitching. Jake braced himself for the impending judgment, yet he noticed something new: a shield of resilience forming around him. It was clear Lily found joy in the moment. Perhaps, just perhaps, this experience could be more than a festival day. It could be a turning point. "Not bad for a beginner," the vendor piped up, catching the tension. A soft laughter spread through the small gathering. It was a bubble, fragile yet potent. In that shared moment of creativity and innocence, Jake felt the crack in his heart begin to mend. "Maybe you could consider a class, or a workshop," the vendor suggested, eyes twinkling with possibilities. The suggestion sent his mind racing, the spark igniting a whirlwind of ideas they could explore together. But just as he considered the future, unexpected news flew through the crowd. A call for participants in a talent show echoed, urging locals to come forth and showcase their abilities. Jake's heart dropped, fear wrapping around him once more. Could he really step into the spotlight? In front of Lily? Fear and excitement danced within, but as he glanced at his daughter's eager face, that spark of hope refused to be extinguished. He had come this far. The call was a challenge, the moment was ripe for change. Would he be brave enough to take the leap? Jake's heart raced, a whirlwind of doubt mingling with excitement. His eyes flicked to Lily's bright, unwavering enthusiasm and then back to the stage. Musicians were setting up, their chatter blending with the low thrumming of the crowd. Each amplified heartbeat felt louder than the last. Could he really stand up there, bare and exposed, in front of everyone? "Come on, Dad." Lily's voice pulled him from his thoughts. "Let us be in the talent show." She grabbed his hand and beamed up at him, her eagerness inflating his courage just a little. He looked at her, that spark of hope swelling into something bigger. "What do you want to do?" he asked, his voice shaky but determined. "Can we sing? You've got a great voice," she urged. Jake chuckled nervously. "I do. You might be misinformed, kiddo." But even as he said it, a dream began to take root. They had often hummed tunes around the house, their favorites echoing off the walls. "Together, come on. I'll even let you pick the song." The sparkle in her eyes was infectious, and Jake found himself reconsidering. Could this be their moment, a time to step out and reclaim some joy together? As he contemplated, a part of him was afraid of stepping into that vulnerability of wanting and failing, of letting someone else down, especially Lily. But as he looked around at the joyful chaos of the festival, he remembered the laughter from the bead booth, the connection they had just forged. Maybe stepping out of this comfort zone wasn't so scary after all. Okay, he said, trying to sound more confident than he felt. Let's give it a shot. Lily squealed in delight, pulling him through the excited crowd toward the sign-up area. Dad! She exclaimed as they reached the table, we're going to sing. Jake watched the volunteer behind the booth smile warmly. Great! What song are you two thinking about? Lily bounced on her toes. Can we do a whole new world? It's so magical. Jake nodded, the nostalgia washing over him. The excitement of sharing a song that had chased away dark thoughts from his childhood gave him comfort. He could picture them on that makeshift stage, voices mingling, creating a beautiful moment together. As they signed up, trepidation bubbled inside him, but he also felt a spark of excitement. He imagined the crowd, feeling their energy and support wrap around him like a protective cloak. Just think about the fun we'll have, Dad. Lily's voice broke through his fears once more. As they wandered off to find Chloe and her mom, worry crept back. Do you think they'll like it? Of course. It's us. She giggled, squeezing his hand tightly. But as they made their way through the throngs of festival-goers, he noticed Chloe's mother's disapproving gaze following them. Her arms folded tightly across her chest, she whispered something to Chloe that sent a dark wave of insecurity crashing over him. What if they laughed at him? What if he embarrassed Lily? Jake wanted to shake off the anxiety, but the weight pressed heavier. He had spent too many years harboring doubts. Yet here he was, on the brink of sharing a stage with his daughter, an opportunity to show her that it was okay to chase dreams, no matter how riotous life became. Dad, are you okay? Lily glanced back at him, concern etching across her lovely face. Yeah, just thinking. We'll do great. We'll make it fun. Yeah. She chirped, her cheer leaping back into him. But as they approached the green space designated for performances, the reality of the moment settled heavy in his chest. The duo before them finished their act, and applause erupted. The thrill and unpredictability of it all lured him in. Now the challenge would not only be to perform, but to embrace the unknown, the chaos he feared. Could he truly conquer the stage for Lily? Could they capture this moment of courage together? In that instant, as they stepped closer to the spotlight, Jake realized that sometimes the biggest leaps come from simply choosing to stand side by side with the ones we love. Would they sink or would they soar? As they settled in, the chaotic sounds of the festival faded into a distant buzz, leaving only Jake and Lily in their own universe. The sun hung low, casting a warm golden hue over the makeshift stage and the crowd that was beginning to gather. Jake couldn't help but feel the weight of anticipation settle in his stomach like a heavy stone. It was a mix of excitement and dread, and he wondered if he could manage it. Look, Dad. Lily pointed to the performers on stage, her eyes wide with awe. They're so good. We can be like them. Jake smiled, his daughter's excitement lighting a fire within him. Watching those other performers, he felt a pinprick of envy. They moved so confidently, their voices soaring above the heads of the crowd, as if their dreams were tangible in the air. He wanted that for her, not just this moment but a life filled with bold choices and no fear. He needed to be that example. Do you think we can sing as well as they do? He asked, trying to gauge her confidence. Of course. We just have to believe. Lily chirped, her conviction unwavering that it was that belief that got under his skin and nestled into his heart. How could he have a moment of self-doubt when she believed in him so completely? Just then, their names were called. A ripple of nervous excitement surged through him. Next up, Jake and Lily. The announcer declared. In that moment, a rush of adrenaline washed over him. The crowd turned, and all eyes were suddenly on them. Jake glanced down at Lily, her face shining with determination. It was in that instant he felt a sense of purpose. He wasn't just doing this for himself, but for her. Okay, we've got this, he said, squeezing her hand tightly as they made their way to the foot of the stage. The steps felt steep, each one echoing in his ears like a countdown. As they climbed onto the stage, the energy shifted. The stage lights bathed them in warmth, and Jake's heart beat in rhythm with the excited murmurs of the audience. He glanced at their faces, curious, expectant, and suddenly, his throat felt tight. "Just breathe," he whispered to himself. When he stood before the microphone, he could feel it. The crowd, the noise, the bright lights. It all melted away when he focused solely on Lily. She was his anchor, and he would not let her down. As the first notes began to play, they locked eyes. Lily's smile was contagious, and he found himself breaking into a grin. Then, they began to sing. A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. Their voices blended beautifully. Jake couldn't help but bask in the joy of the moment. The worries faded away as their melody soared through the air. With each passing note, he felt more alive, the fears dissipating like shadows chased by the sunlight. At first, the crowd was merely a backdrop, but as they progressed, applause swelled between the verses, infectious and invigorating. Jake grinned wider. He couldn't remember the last time he felt this free, this uncaged. Singing alongside his daughter felt like flying, heart open, spirit lifted. Then, abruptly, a loud cough erupted from the corner of the stage. Jake's heart sank as he spotted Chloe's mother standing there, arms still crossed, weariness dripping from her expression. But something shifted in him. Instead of shrinking back, Jake held his head high. Through the cheers and the music, he found something within himself, an unyielding spirit urging him to keep going, to show everyone, including that disapproving look, that he and Lily were meant to shine. As they reached the final notes, a rush of emotion stirred within him. They finished with a flourish, and the applause resonated back, a tidal wave of approval crashing over them. Jake felt a rush of warmth spread through his chest, an elation he never thought he could feel, but the moment of triumph hung suspended for just a second too long when the unexpected happened. He saw Lily's eyes widen, the surprise mingling with uncertainty. As the applause faded, the crowd erupted into whispers, glances darting towards Chloe's mother. And in that moment, Jake could feel the ground shift beneath them. Would this triumph be enough to stand against the critics, to conquer the doubts that loomed? His heart raced as he spotted someone in the crowd, a familiar face, one that left him questioning everything they had just accomplished. Would this breakthrough be fleeting, or would it spark something transformative in their lives? As the final echoes of their song faded away, Jake's heart beat wildly in his chest. The applause felt like a warm embrace, but his thrill was dampened by the anxiety pulsating in the air. He searched the sea of faces in the crowd, but all he could think about was the heavy weight of judgment lurking near the stage. "Did you see that?" Lily's voice cut through his thoughts, bubbling with excitement. Her face was lit up with pride, but he could see the flicker of confusion in her eyes too. "Yeah, I did," Jake said, trying to mirror her enthusiasm, but it felt hollow. She looked so happy, and yet he was distracted, unable to shake the feeling of unease. "Dad, we did amazing," she squealed, bouncing on her toes. "I can't wait to tell everyone." Her bright spirit almost pulled him out of his spiral. He forced himself to nod, wanting to feel her joy, but the reality of the murmurs and Chloe's mother's disapproving stare weighed heavily on him. "We really did, didn't we?" he managed, though his smile didn't reach his eyes. As they stepped off the stage, Jake heard snippets of whispered conversations. "Did you see the way she looked at them?" one voice said. "Why would they even try?" another remarked. With each word, the vibrant glow of their performance dimmed, replaced by a creeping doubt. "Let us go get some cotton candy," Lily suggested, her small hand tugging on his. Her enthusiasm radiated like a beacon, urging him to shake off the shadows. Jake forced a smile. "Sure, cotton candy sounds great." As they walked through the festival, he tried to focus on her chatter. But every so often, he caught glimpses of Chloe's mother, still lurking at the fringes of the crowd, her gaze razor sharp. Lily was skipping ahead, her little blonde ponytail bobbing, her laughter ringing out, a sweet sound against the clamor of the festival. Jake felt a pang in his chest. He wanted so desperately to protect her from any negativity in the world. The world wasn't always kind, and he worried that today's moment of magic was teetering on the edge of something gray and uncertain. "Dad, look at the balloons," Lily squeaked, stopping to point at a cluster of brightly colored balloons drifting into the sky. "Can we get one?" "Of course," he replied, moving toward the vendor with her. That smile returned as he watched her dance around, completely unaware of the undercurrents swirling around them. As Jake fished out a few bills from his wallet, he noticed a flicker of movement at the edge of his vision. He turned, and that familiar face broke through the crowd. It was Marissa, an old friend from high school. Relief washed over him for a split second until he saw the uncertainty in her eyes. Their paths had diverged years ago, but moments like this reminded him of their shared history, of what could have been. "Jake!" she called out, her voice bright but her expression cautious. "Marissa!" He waved her over, eager for a familiar comfort. But just then, he caught sight of Chloe's mother marching toward them with determination. Lily, still ecstatic over her balloons, glanced between their two worlds. "Dad, who is that?" Jake opened his mouth, then hesitated. "Just a friend," he finally answered, trying to keep the tension at bay. But behind them, he could hear Chloe's mother approaching, her presence like a thundercloud. He took a deep breath, ready for impact. "Jake," Marissa said softly, stepping into the fray, "I heard you and Lily sing. It was beautiful." As warmth spread through him from the compliment, Jake felt the weight of the world shift. But just as he started to respond, Chloe's mother reached them. Her eyes locked onto Lily, and Jake braced for the storm. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her voice cold. "You should have known better." The air thickened around them, and Jake felt his heart pound in his chest. This moment could make or break everything they had just built. With all eyes on them, would he stand and fight for that joy? Would he let the shadows win? "Lily, hold on to those balloons," he said, the tension unraveling into determination as he turned to face the woman who represented so many of his fears. "Because this is just the beginning." Jake took a deep breath, grounding himself in the moment. He was aware of Lily's bright laughter echoing around him, but his focus was now solely on Chloe's mother. The weight of expectation hung in the air, both from the crowd and himself. "Why do you insist on dragging her into this?" the woman continued, her voice sharp, cutting through the festival's buzz. Jake felt heat rise to his cheeks. He had been prepared for resistance, but the pointed accusation stung. "Chloe's not the only one with a dream," Jake replied, his voice steadier than he felt. "Lily loves to sing. This is what she wants." "Yes, right." Marissa stepped forward, her voice filled with unexpected courage. "You should support your daughter's happiness. She deserves that." The crowd began to shift slightly, as if holding its breath, eager to see how the confrontation would unfold. Jake's heart mirrored that tension. He could see Lily's confusion, her tiny face searching for clarity amidst the rising storm. "Lily, sweetie," he said gently, getting down on one knee to meet her gaze. "You don't have to worry about anything. Just enjoy your balloons." His heart ached at her uncertainty, and he wished he could shield her from the unwarranted hostility. "But Dad," she began, but he held a finger to his lips. "Just trust me," he whispered, giving her a soft smile. Turning back to Chloe's mother, a newfound determination surged within him. "Chloe and Lily are friends. They enjoy performing together. You can't take that away from them just because it doesn't fit your idea of what's appropriate." The woman's eyes narrowed, and her expression hardened. "You think it's that simple? You think people want to talk? I have to protect my daughter." Jake felt a surge of anger combined with sorrow, knowing all too well the desire to protect one's child. "You think shielding her from the world will save her? One day, she'll have to stand on her own. Why not help her do that now?" The crowd's murmurs began to fade, replaced by the sound of laughter and joy a few booths away. Children chased one another, their squeals filling the air with excitement. For every disapproving conversation he sensed echoing around him, there were thousands more celebrating life, dreams, and the unguarded moments that made it beautiful. Slowly, he saw a flicker of uncertainty in Chloe's mother's eyes. But she started, struggling to find her footing against his words. "Let me ask you something," Jake said, his voice softer now but insistent. "What do you want Chloe to remember about this time in her life? Will it be the fear of judgment or the joy of pursuing her passions?" As he spoke, Jake felt a connection brewing, a thread that might heal the rift before them. Suddenly, it was about more than just performance, it was a hope for acceptance, for love, and for the freedom to be. Marissa interjected, "We're all just trying to be brave here. Supporting our kids shouldn't feel like a war." In that moment, Jake held his breath, the world around him quieting into focus. The tension was palpable. Behind them, Lily glanced up at the balloons bobbing in the sky, the colors vibrant like her carefree spirit. The shimmer of the sunlight caught the edges of her joys. "Well?" Jake prodded, needing an answer, the rough edges of anticipation tightening in his lungs. Chloe's mother hesitated, her mouth moving but no words forming. The festival moved on around them, yet for Jake, time stood still. Would there be understanding, or would fear bury them all? "Isn't it time for a new beginning?" he asked, his voice low yet hopeful. Just then, thick clouds moved in overhead, hinting at an unexpected rain. The moment hung, suspended between past and future, waiting for one definitive answer. And with that, Jake realized that this was only the start of something much bigger. What would happen next would change everything. The heavy air filled with tension crackled as the clouds loomed overhead, shadows stealing across the festival grounds. Jake scanned the faces around him. Some frowned, disapproving, while others seemed caught in a moment of shared hope, waiting for Chloe's mother to respond. Finally, her lips parted. I only want what's best for Chloe," she said, her voice trembling slightly. For a fleeting second, vulnerability flickered across her features. Jake saw the mother behind the harshness, the whirlwind of worry at her core, and it softened his heart. "I understand that, truly," Jake replied, his eyes steady on hers. "But what if the best for her means allowing her to explore who she is? What if it means encouraging her to dream?" Marissa stepped closer, gently touching Chloe's mother's arm. "We're all scared, in our own ways. But we can't let fear dictate our children's lives. They need to learn to navigate the world and find their own paths." The other woman's gaze fell. It seemed she was weighing her fears against the words of the two people before her. "But," she whispered, almost pleading. A sound erupted behind them. Lily, lifting her voice in a playful tune, her laughter bursting forth as the first drops of rain pattered against the ground. She twirled, sending a frenzy of colors in her dress pirouetting in the wind. The laughter of the children nearby, oblivious to the growing tension, blended with Lily's joyful song. "See?" Jake urged, even as droplets began to fall, wetting the earth. "That's what life is. It's about joy, connections, and our kids chasing what's in their hearts." Chloe's mother blinked as if she was emerging from a trance. "But what if they're hurt? What if people judge them?" There was a frantic urgency in her voice now, fear clawing through. "Then they'll learn to handle it," Jake said, voice rising, the rain starting to fall harder. "We can't protect them from everything, but we can give them the tools to be strong. Performing is just a part of that, its growth." The rain intensified, creating a barrier, washing away the dust and possibly the fear. The crowd was now retreating, seeking cover, but both Jake and Marissa stood resolute, not flinching. They had come too far to back down now, anchored by the love for their children. "Look at them," Marissa said, motioning toward Lily and Chloe, who were now obliviously dancing in the rain, drenched but laughing, umbrellas forgotten. "They are learning to embrace uncertainty." Jake noticed the change in Chloe's mother. Her posture eased slightly, as though an invisible weight was being lifted. Maybe I've been too rigid, she admitted, vulnerability weaving through her words. I just wanted to keep her safe. And you're doing a good job by wanting that, Jake reassured her. But sometimes, safety is in the journey, not in avoidance. You have to trust her to trust yourself. As the rain fell like a curtain of shimmering silver, Chloe broke away from Lily and dashed toward her mother, her face beaming with excitement. Mom! Look! Just like the movies. Jake held his breath. Would this moment bring understanding? Would Chloe's mother finally let go of her fear? Can you be brave too? Marissa added, her voice soft yet resonating. Jake's heart raced as he watched Chloe's mother glance back and forth between her daughter and the two of them. The answer felt monumental, like the world was waiting for a sign, a change on the horizon, with the rain drumming in rhythm around them and laughter surrounding. Jake knew that this moment could rewrite everything. How would they find common ground in the storm? As the festival began to dissolve into an afternoon haze of color and laughter, uncertainty hung like raindrops from the trees, heavy yet possible, a weight broken only by acceptance. And just then, amidst the joy, Chloe's mother took a step forward, her lips parting again as her eyes shone with something more than fear. Would she take that leap of faith? Would she choose to embrace the beginning Jake and Marissa dared to offer? In that moment, Jake knew whatever came next would challenge everything they thought they understood about love, family, and freedom. The storm was just beginning. Chloe's mother paused, her breath caught in a swirl of emotions. The weight of the moment held her as the rain fell around them like soft whispers. Jake felt the shift, something candid blossomed in her eyes, nudging her instinct toward possibility. Mom, please. Chloe's voice sliced through the tension, full of innocent desperation. Can I dance? As she twirled again, arms wide open, her face lit up with an uncontainable spirit, shimmering with joy even as the rain blurred the world around them. With her heart thumping, Chloe's mother watched her daughter, and for the first time, the lines on her forehead seemed to soften. You want to dance? She asked, the hint of a smile breaking through her previous worry. Yes. Yes. Chloe jumped, splashing through puddles, laughter ringing clear into the storm. It's just like the movies. Come on. Be brave. At that moment, Marissa stepped forward, her own conviction strengthening the air around them. It's okay to let her feel free, to trust her instincts. You've got to embrace those little moments. They shape who she is becoming. The crowd around them had thinned, attention dwindling in the rain, but Jake felt pulled toward the instant unfolding before him. He could see Chloe's mother's resolve slowly melting, piece by drenched piece. What is stopping you? He asked gently, his voice sincere. I promise, you'll find strength in this. With a deep breath, Chloe's mother stepped away from her fears. She looked at Chloe as if for the first time, seeing her not just as a daughter but as a vibrant, aspiring soul ready to break free. Okay, she whispered, her shoulders relaxing further, a hesitant smile emerging. All right. Let us dance. Chloe squealed, rushing into her mother's arms, pulling her into the rain-soaked embrace of freedom. They spun together, laughter erupting as the storm intensified, each drop a declaration of joy and possibility. Jake watched, his heart swelling. Change was happening. Realizing their love couldn't be confined by worries, Chloe's mother was beginning to unshackle herself. Around them, the lingering festival became blurry in the rain, the world simplifying to this untethered moment of connection. As they danced, Marissa grabbed Jake's hand, a shared understanding passing between them. They both smiled, warmth aching in their chests, embracing this small but pivotal victory. It felt monumental, a crack in the walls that had held Chloe's mother back. But just then, a sharp clap of thunder rumbled overhead, echoing through the festival grounds. The skies darkened momentarily as if they were about to let loose the storm's full fury. The laughter faded as several people in the vicinity glanced upward, concern flickering through their eyes. Chloe's mother, still holding on to her daughter, paused as the fear washed back over her. Would this storm dampen the courage that had been kindled? Would this opportunity for change slip back into shadow? Jake could see the flicker of doubt returning. "Just breathe," he said, stepping closer. "You're stronger than this moment. Just keep dancing." But would she listen? Would she hold on tight to the revelation of her own strength, even as the tempest roared above? There was a storm not just outside, but inside her as well, and the battle for courage was far from over. As the rain poured and the thunder cracked, uncertainty loomed larger than before. Would Chloe's mother find the faith she needed to embrace change, or would she retreat back into fear's comforting embrace once the storms passed? The storm was still unfolding, and the choices that lay ahead loomed just like the gathering clouds above. Chloe's mother stood frozen, her eyes darting between the swelling skies and her daughter, who danced with wild abandon, as if the storm itself couldn't touch her. Every droplet that fell seemed to enhance Chloe's joy, turning her into a radiant star in the midst of chaos. But for her mother, the tumult felt paralyzing. "Mom!" Chloe called out, twirling with enough force that her muddy shoes left small circles in the puddles. "Come on. Don't be scared." Marissa squeezed Jake's hand tighter, an unspoken worry blooming in her chest. "She has to let go," she whispered, a determined flicker in her eyes. "She cannot let fear win." Jake nodded. The air was thrumming with emotions, he could practically feel the storm of doubt swirling within Chloe's mother. "This is your moment," he urged softly, moving closer. "You can find your joy right alongside her." For a moment, nothing but the sound of rain seemed to fill the space. Thunder boomed louder, shaking the ground beneath them, but Chloe's laughter danced above it all. Chloe's mother closed her eyes, surrendering to the rhythmic pitter of rain, feeling as if she might drown in her own fears, or perhaps, emerge renewed. The thought pulled her in two. Finally, with a deep breath, she shook her head. "No," she said firmly, a hint of resolve coloring her voice. "This is about her and me." The realization surged through her like a bolt of lightning. She could dance. With tentative steps, Chloe's mother joined her daughter in the puddles, splashing water everywhere. Chloe gasped in delight, her face lighting up as they connected through movement. It wasn't perfect, nor did it need to be. Their laughter ignited, the kind of sound that managed to pierce through the turmoil of thunder. A change was dawning. Chloe's mother twirled, feeling the weight on her heart begin to lift. She watched her little girl, unrestrained and wild, and was swept away by an ache of happiness, an elusive thing she hadn't felt in a long while. It was freeing, shedding layers of worry with every spin. Thunder rumbled again, but rather than fear, it brought exhilaration. Rain cascaded, and she felt as if she was shedding part of her past with every drop. This is where transformation begins, she thought, her mind racing with newfound courage. Jake and Marissa exchanged glances filled with pride. "Maybe this storm will wash away more than just the rain," Marissa said, her voice barely heard above the downpour. "It seems like a renewal is underway." Chloe's mother caught Jake's eye over Chloe's head. "Thank you," she mouthed, realization dawning that her journey had just shifted. It wasn't just about her daughter, but about embracing joy even amid uncertainty. Just then, Chloe turned abruptly, stumbling slightly as her foot splashed into a deeper puddle. She threw her arms out for balance, but her mother was there, instinctively catching her. They both laughed, Chloe's joy infectious and wild, and in that moment, Chloe's mother understood that the dance wasn't about perfection, it was about connection. But as they resumed twirling, a sudden chill swept through the air. The storm was intensifying, clouds swirling ominously above them. Chloe's mother paused, gripping her daughter tighter, glancing up just in time to see a fierce flash of lightning zigzag across the sky. Panic echoed as the crowd began to scatter, seeking shelter. "Stay close!" she shouted over the din, but Chloe was already bouncing on her toes, eyes impossibly wide. "Mom, look!" Chloe pointed towards a glimmering light breaking through the clouds, illuminating the storm-tossed world around them. "It's beautiful." Chloe's mother felt a pang of worry mixed with the thrill of possibility. That light represented hope, a chance to rise from the storm, but would she be bold enough to let it guide them forward? With thunder echoing in the backdrop and the world in flux, they stood on the precipice of bold choices. What would she choose next, as the tempest faded and the dawn of change broke through the clouds? The echoes of vibrant laughter in the rain washed over Jake as he stood with Marissa, witnessing a transformation transpire before his eyes. Chloe's mother was dancing with Lily, two bodies lost in joy, spinning in circles made by puddles that reflected the breaking light. The thunder cracked ominously, but it felt different now, a backdrop to a moment of courage rather than fear. Tears brimmed in Jake's eyes. This was everything he had hoped for, a moment not just for Chloe and Lily, but for him and every parent who carried the weight of insecurity in their hearts. Watching Chloe's mother finally shed her fears and embrace this dance felt like witnessing the lifting of a heavy fog. "Look, Jake, look," Marissa said, her voice animated. "They're shining." He nodded, the weight lifting from his chest. This is what it's about. Making those connections, letting go of the chains life puts around us. Just then, they could see Lily's laughter form a bridge. She tugged at Chloe's mother's hand, urging her to splash deeper into the puddles. "Don't think. Just feel," Lily said, her voice breaking through the storm like sunlight piercing clouds. And in that moment, Chloe's mother fully let go. She giggled, leaping into the puddles with enthusiasm, her laughter mingling with the children's. It was a moment of pure bliss, electric and radiant, painting strokes of hope across the festival grounds as the rain began to taper off. Jake couldn't help but join in, the joy swelling within him, as if he were reborn alongside them. He stepped closer, wrapping an arm around Marissa so they could all share in this breathtaking joy. They became part of it, this shared space of laughter, twirling bodies, and glimmering eyes. Suddenly, the sun broke through the heavy clouds, spilling gold across the landscape. Jake felt the warmth cascade over them, illuminating the scene. "It's beautiful," he called, his heart full of wonder. The crowd had begun to gather once more, watching the unfolding magic. Many wore smiles, others whispered stories of this beautiful moment, a family coming together, two worlds colliding. In the distance, the festival came alive again, colors buzzing, music playing in the background. Jake turned to Marissa, a smile stretching across his face. "Can you believe this? We made it." She grinned back, her eyes sparkling with pride. "We did. Together." There was a new energy in the air, one filled with possibilities. Jake approached the dancing group, his heart dancing along, a sense of belonging wrapping around him. "Hey, can we join in?" he asked, as he reached toward Lily with open arms. "Dad, you have to dance," she giggled, pulling him in. The moment was electric. Chloe's mother turned, her eyes filled with gratitude and newfound courage. "Thank you for your kindness," she said, and suddenly a weight had lifted not only off of her shoulders but a veil had been pulled from her heart. Jake smiled back. "Remember this feeling. It's who we are. We embrace life, don't hide from it." They danced in unison, laughter mingling with echoes of music, the festival reclaiming its festive spirit. For Jake, every twirl and splash in the puddles felt like stitching their lives back together. He was no longer a ship lost in the storm, he was anchored in love. And as the sun began to set, casting warm hues over their world, Jake could feel change unfurl at last. It was more than just one day, it was a promise of a brighter tomorrow. This was a new rhythm, a new start, and they were all part of its symphony. As the final notes of laughter rang out, a shout emanated from the crowd, "We want you again, Jake." His heart soared. This had ignited something far beyond performing. This was community, connection, transformation. As he looked at Lily, with Chloe by her side and Chloe's mother no longer chained to fear, he knew they all had a role in this beautiful unfolding. "All right, let us show them how it's done," he cheered, joining an ever-growing circle of joy. And just like that, he realized they weren't just dancing. They were living, loving, and embracing every drop of rain as it fell. If you've loved this journey, you need to subscribe immediately to catch all the empowering stories that are coming. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm, so more people can share in this inspiration. Comment your reactions and feelings in the section below. Your voice matters, and for the true fans out there, share this uplifting video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to spread the joy.